Of all the cities standing and surviving today, there's arguably rarely any place that comes close to the undisputed legacy of this city. The one city that still holds a paramount influence of the entire Western civilization as we know it today. A city that's been so expansively and immortally embedded in our consciousness that it takes only a few glances to recognize which city we're looking at. That even those who haven't been would feel a sense of déjà vu. That feeling that you've already been there. That's the power of Rome. A city that's so familiar precisely because of its influence in our world. Rome is time manifested, glory incarnated, and an overwhelming lesson in our human history. A city that built one of the greatest empires the world has ever seen, and yet one that inevitably crumbled in its dissolute demise. But this video isn't about glorifying Rome's empire building. I wanted to create a tribute to a city not for what it's lost, but for what we still have. A city that survived and has been surviving for over thousands of years. That Roman resilience and the strength the city possesses. One that stands the test of time, equally celebrated for its unparalleled grandeur and partly derided for its delusions of power, and yet nonetheless unrivaled in its beauty and unmatched sphere of influence in this waking world. The one and true city carved out of dreams, countlessly imitated yet never duplicated, a city in which all other cities measure to. And it goes by its many names across the ages. Caput Mundi, Urb Sacra, La Dolce Vita, La Grande Bellezza, La Città Eterna, the Eternal City, the one and only, mythical, magnificent, riveting, ravishing, romantic Rome. Roma, as the Italians would call their city. They say all roads lead to Rome, and early last year my road led me here just before the pandemic spread across our globe. At the time, I found the city very much alive and full of life, and I was very fortunate to be able to experience the Italian capital as it was meant to be. Well, I can't even begin to imagine the struggle that the city is going through right now, or fathom the impact on the lives of the Italian people and the city's residents. It took me a year to process what Rome meant to me as a visitor. From someone who's read Rome through history books and literature, and only seen Rome through documentaries and photographs. This was the heart of the ancient world, the center of European culture, a city with the power to enthrall, fascinate, and astonish. I was personally daunted by Rome, of the idea of Rome. The Rome I knew was Rome from cinema. Rome as depicted by Fellini's La Dolce Vita and Otto e Mezzo, De Sica's La Dride Biciclette and Umberto G, the films of Rossellini, Antonioni, Pasolini, Bertolucci, and the absolutely beautiful Sorrentino's La Grande Bellezza. The Rome I knew was the Rome of Roman holiday, 3 coins in a fountain, Plan Soleil, the talented Mr. Ripley, and To Rome with Love. So when I've finally been in Rome for the first time ever in my own existence, in the flesh, in all its gloriously breathtaking manifestation, I understood exactly why. This city is so achingly cinematic. They say anyone who arrives here begs to ask the question, what have we done to deserve Rome? Rome is a city of 7 hills: Palatine, Capitoline, Caelian, Aventine, Esquiline, Vimina, and Quirina. And there's a few more beyond the Aurelian walls. And then there's a great river that snakes through the city, the Tiber River. For those who have been in Rome, at least those I knew who did, all agree on one thing. Rome is unforgettable. A city of sights and wonder, of scents and smells and flavours, of pulsating noise and unexpected bliss. A city in thrall and in awe of its place in human history. Out of all Rome's marvellous array of features, one thing stood out to me the most: the colours. Man, the colours of the city, unlike anything I've ever seen. Vivid ochres, bright apricots, burnt orange, buildings forged from richly earthy colours, hewn from limestone, clay, travertine, stone, and marble. Wasn't it Augustus, the first Roman emperor, who said he found Rome a city of bricks and left it a city of marble? It's a proud claim for a city with a proud yet convoluted past. I mean, you can spend an entire lifetime studying Rome's history, but here's the gist. Rome practically emerged from a struggle of power, out of fratricide, but whether you glean from the mythic origin story of Romulus and Remus, or the city's Trojan and Etruscan cultural and socio-political influence, there's no denying that the founding of ancient Rome came from unabashed pride and relentless ambition. What began as a kingdom became a republic, a founded democracy with an electoral representative government, only to give way to a rise of an empire so great it became too big to fail, but crumbled it did. Its downfall, a moral lesson to human greed and thirst for power. Nonetheless, this is a city that built gigantic mythic structures that proclaim its unyielding power as the center of the civilized ancient world, reminding us that this was the core, the hub of the vast Roman Empire that ruled much of Europe, the Mediterranean, Northern Africa, all the way to Western Asia and parts of the Arabic world. Sure, we can talk about all the terrible things, all the horrifying details that the Roman Imperium had inflicted, the endless conflict, the brutal expansionism, the abominable system of slavery, the appalling social divide, and the contempt of the ruling class. But it's also easy to forget the immense, inexhaustible contribution, innovation, and influence that Rome brought to our world. Think infrastructure, engineering, medicine, literature, geography, the arts, architecture, economics, governance, public health, social welfare, trade, water systems, agriculture, law, philosophy, our languages. The list goes on forever. The Roman legacy goes beyond what we can ever imagine. Rome built over 56,000 miles of road and connected the ancient world. The way in which we travel, conduct trade with one currency, crossing borders with one passport, Rome made that all possible. One thing we tend to overlook, Rome developed cement and concrete, making sure that whatever they built, those structures will weather the onslaught of time. If it weren't for Roman engineering, Rome wouldn't be an open museum that it is today. Take the Pantheon, for example, which the pagan emperor Hadrian rebuilt from its original builder, Marcus Agrippa. 2,000 years later, and it still remains the single greatest and most preserved Roman architecture in the world. It remains the world's largest unreinforced dome, with a pitch-perfect oculus at its center. All of this are genius in Roman engineering that's still unmatched today. Pantheon is derived from Greek, meaning temple for all the gods, dedicated to pagan polytheistic worship, before it was later turned into a Christian church when Christianity was declared the official religion of Rome. You can throw any religion into this building, but one thing's for certain, the Pantheon was built to last. And speaking of solid round structures, there's another one linked to Hadrian, one building that has outlived many others throughout centuries, the Mausoleum of Hadrian, or Castel Sant'Angelo. Built like a fortress, this intimidating structure was once a prison and then later became a papal residence, with a not-so-secret tunnel that links the castle to the Vatican. This might look like a brutal structure, but there's something beautiful here. Leading to the fortress is this iconic footbridge, the elegant travertine bridge Ponte Sant'Angelo, flanked with 10 angel sculptures by some of Rome's magnificent artists. And up above the castle is the final 11th angel, the sculpture of Archangel Michael, sheathing a sword, looking out to the marvelous rooftops of Rome. And of course, there's the Colosseum. For you can't really talk about Rome and not including the Colosseum, the scope and magnitude of which still remains breathtaking today. While morally contentious with the fact that this building symbolized the brutal, barbaric and bloody gladiatorial combat for which Rome became infamous for, costing thousands of the lives of both animals and men. Its real virtue perhaps lies in the strength of this Flavian Vespasian architecture, the largest of its kind surviving today. But you know what's the real Roman achievement? Water. Water is Rome's greatest accomplishment. A city that built aqueducts, complex water systems, channeling usable, fresh drinking water from nearby mountains to the entire Roman population. Rome is also known as Regina Aquarum, or Queen of the Waters, and there's rarely any city that celebrates water like Rome does. There's no wonder some of the most incredible ornate water fountains you'll find in the world are in Rome. Da Fontana de Trevi by Nicola Salvi and Pietro Bracci. The Fountain of Four Rivers in Piazza Navona, a masterwork from Bernini. These are masterpieces sculpted to perfection, created to celebrate the glory of water. And there are more than 1,500 fountains around the city. In Rome, fountains are everywhere. Everyone can drink from a flowing fountain. Apparently, there are over 2,500 nasoni, or drinking fountains in Rome, constantly running with fresh water. Believe me, there's no need to buy water bottles while you're in the city. In Rome, everyone has access to water. Rome is a city for lovers of art. A city of fountains, a city of columns, of temples, sculptures, domed cathedrals, beautiful churches, wonderfully wrought palazzi, and magnificent piazzas. You don't need to be inside a museum to experience Rome. Rome is the museum. This is the city where artistic geniuses the likes of Michelangelo, Raphael, Caravaggio, Bernini, Borromini produced masterpieces, placing Rome as the artistic center of European culture during the High Renaissance and Baroque period. In the city-state of Vatican, whatever your opinion is of the Catholic religion, there's no denying the breathless works of art created here. It was Michelangelo who was the principal architect of St. Peter's Basilica, who also painted the legendary ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. It was Bernini, the Baroque master, who designed St. Peter's Square and the sculptures high above the Vatican. And elsewhere in Rome, Michelangelo left a stunning mark from the Cordonata leading to the Capitoline Hill, where he designed Piazza del Campidoglio, one of the greatest in Rome, a trapezoidal piazza surrounded by palazzi, which he also designed. In this square, there's also Musei Capitolini, housing some of the greatest sculptural works in the world. The stunning original bronze equestrian statue of the legendary Marcus Aurelius, one of the 5 good emperors of Rome and an influential philosopher of Stoicism. The dying owl, Praxiteles' Venus, and the stunning 1st century Roman marble sculpture, Marforio. And then there's Borromini, the misunderstood genius whose Baroque architectural works, like that of contemporary and rival Bernini, define the cityscape of Rome. Some of his most incredible works include the Church of St. Agnes in Piazza Navona, the chapel of the ancient La Sapienza University of Rome, and the quietly revolutionary San Carlo alle Quattro Fontane. Rome is indeed home to art, an astonishing, immeasurable amount of art ever conceived in all of humanity. In Rome, all you need to do is to walk around and be held captive to the enormous amount of detail, carefully, elaborately carved, constructed and substantiated from mere marbles, clay and rocks. Rushing around Rome is never recommended, because there is so much detail to look at. And yet, the real magic of Rome is found on its streets, its stairways, its hidden corners. The real spirit of Rome can be found by foot, as you wind your way through ancient cobblestone streets, echoing and aching a sense of nostalgia. I walked and found that the most beautiful parts of Rome are just hiding around every corner. One of my favorites is the ravishing Via Giulia at dusk, where a Michelangelo bridge remains hidden from the crowd. I found magic by climbing above Altare della Patria during sunset overlooking Piazza Venezia. I found magic in Capitoline, as if Michelangelo ensured the sunset would cast its magical glow on the piazza. And I found magic by going to Pantheon Hill, where people gathered to watch the beautiful sunset over the eternal city. If there's any magic in this world, it lives in Rome. Of all that's been described of Rome, perhaps the most poetic one comes from a Renaissance painter, Giotto di Bondone. He said, "Rome is the city of echoes, the city of illusions, the city of yearning." It took me a while to understand that until I've finally been in Rome. There is so much yearning in this city. The yearning to be greater than this, to be bigger than this life. That's why they built all of this. Bigger, better, grander, higher. An Icarus that soared too high, it came too close to the sun. Out of the 10 days I stayed in Rome, out of all the memories I created there, the one afternoon which I spent walking around the Capitoline Hill in the Roman Forum stood out the most for me. It was when I was walking amongst these ruins that it hit me. All of us are alive and breathing right now. We too shall pass, and yet these Roman structures will remain standing throughout the wake of our humanity, outliving all our little lives, all our petty little conflicts, our unnecessary divide. All the good Roman emperors and all the worst ones should see Rome for what they created right at this moment. Hell, even the world's despots, anyone who wants to consume humanity for control, power and domination, should look at these ruins closer. Rome is a lesson in time, a history that cannot be changed, but can be taken into perspective. These stones, these ruins aren't here to be simply looked at, but to be felt and understood deeply that none of us is any match against time. Rome is both immemorial and immortalized in time, and whether we agree with it or not, we live in a Roman time, a Roman calendar, and we're just passing through this spectrum of time. But why do we travel to Rome? Why do we cross the globe, travel to places like this, instead of simply watching Rome through a screen, through documentaries, photos and films? For to come to Rome means learning that crucial lesson that Rome's once great empire met its downfall due to corruption, social inequality, overexpansionism, and endless conflict. That ceaseless struggle for power and control by an array of incompetent, power-hungry, narcissistic leaders. To come to Rome means to see face to face the staggering truth of our human destiny, the truth that power corrupts and the lives of the decadent. In fact, all lives are too short for selfishness and cruelty. And while everything will perish, what we leave is what we built. To see Rome is to understand our story, that our world today would be vastly different if Rome weren't carved out of existence. To see Rome is to be reminded that there was once classical and Renaissance ideals that inspired city planners to turn public spaces into beautiful, harmonious places that inspire social well-being and civic pride. And finally, to see Rome is to comprehend that this city truly stands for something in our civilization. That this Roman city inspired many other cities and countries to build themselves out of the Roman ideals of democracy and governance. To take what's good out of Rome, learn from its worst mistakes, uphold it, and leave a legacy worth carving in stone.